tend to have your schedule packed, or do you like to leave things open?
Packed.
Okay.
I like to be productive. And so you have a very short amount of time to meet with a lot of people, have great conversations. And so might as well pack it in.
Yeah.
Heather and I say this every year. We say we are never going to do that again and pack our schedule so much, because the beauty of Cannes is that you're walking the croisette. And when you walk the croisette, you bump into people that maybe you would not have met or set meetings with. And a lot of networking can happen that way. And there's a lot of good that can come from that, right? Beginning of relationships happen that way. Unfortunately, for the past few years with us, we tell ourselves we're not going to book ourselves solid. And the next thing we know, we're booked solid. And I feel like sometimes business gets in the way.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It does. I was going to say the same thing. It's why I recommend like a stop at the Carlton maybe later in the night when you can just bump into people, because that's really the best part of Cannes, I think, too. The meetings are great. Obviously, it's where deals happen, but it's just, organically bumping into somebody.
Yeah.
Which is sometimes you meet the best people.
Yeah. And meeting their friends and meeting their like coworkers, when you don't necessarily get to meet the type of people that come to Cannes. What I will say about Cannes, it's more executives than it is like at CES, where everybody goes to CES. I think a lot more deals can happen only because you have decision makers that are making those decisions. And when you start meeting new people, and there's just so many companies in our industry like cropping up all over the place, it's always nice to know, who's starting what, where, what have they been doing, and how is there a partnership that can happen from there.
Cannes is a marathon, not a sprint. I believe that for me, having been here a couple of times, I've figured out a good balance, really coming up with a anchoring of certain specific important agenda-driven meetings that, anchor different parts of the day, and then filling in some of that free time with that spontaneity that I talked about earlier. We're coming to Cannes, so we need to be prepared to make the most out of it. But at the same time, we should allow time for the unexpected, because some of those non-scheduled meetings, like I mentioned, are truly the best meetings that we end up having.
Yeah.
So this is a good one, because now in my third year, I've planned out always. I'm a planner. And the first 2 years, I left more space. And I think that is absolutely essential to have the connections and the conversations and not be running around. This year, I'm a bit packed. And it's my second day here. So, I still have some time in here till Friday. But I'm already regretting a little bit that I'm a little bit too packed. So I would say that you definitely need to leave some breathing room in your schedule to just have that hour to yourself to go to that one activation or a couple that you really wanted to see, because that's where you meet and bump into people.
Right.
And not be, rushing to the next meeting. If you have meetings back to back, it loses a little bit of the magic. So yeah, definitely leave some breathing room in your schedule. That's my suggestion.
I like to have certain important meetings at schedule, but then have room for spontaneous conversations.
Half empty, because can we go back to my advice? Bake in time for audible. Like you will call audibles. You need, sometimes the opportunity presents itself. If an opportunity that you didn't plan for doesn't present itself, you're not doing it right.